Hello and welcome to the El Camino project, brought to you by Quick-Carbuilders.com. This is where we're starting off. As you can see, this is what happens after several different people put several different transmissions and several different shifters in, and they either own an acetylene torch or a cutoff wheel or a sawzall. You end up with this gigantic hole that you can actually service the transmission right from the inside of your car. So to fix that, we are going to, first of all, we kind of square up this hole so we can weld some sheet metal in there and fill this thing in. So we're using masking tape, because masking tape, when the sparks are flying, it's real easy to see your line. So we've got those areas marked off. We've already done a little bit of fabrication on the piece that we're going to put in here so we can put a boot on this thing. Now here's the piece that we're going to use to cover this hole up, part of it at least. Found this laying in the back of the car, and I've already done a little bit of grinding and fabrication on it to make it fit. Just a simple little hump boot holder. Alright, we got the hole pretty well cut out the way we want it. Got the edges cut straight, pretty straight. And I'm going to use a little bit of a die grinder here to kind of just knock all the burrs off there and bevel the edge a little bit. We're going to be butt welding these pieces in instead of overlapping them. Anytime you can avoid overlapping metal when you're welding, it's always a good idea, because otherwise it just leaves a place for water to get in and rust to come back. And that's what we're trying to get rid of, is rust. Okay, going to do a little more fitting in here to make sure that this is lined up okay before we do any more grinding. Now the plan here is to weld this in across here and across here first, because I've got the rest of it shaped up pretty much the way I want it. And then once that's welded in place, that'll give me make it a little easier to bend this and mate it down, bring it down to the level rather than trying to guess at it. So once we flip this over, of course we're gonna end up putting cool mat on the floor in here, and then of course we'll have carpet padding and padding over it. So cosmetically it doesn't matter too much what this thing looks like here, but you know, if you're gonna do something, you might as well do it right. So years of cutting and whacking on this thing have kind of done a number on it. So once we get that done, then what we'll do is we're going to cut up some little pieces of sheet metal to fit in here, and we'll tack those in, get them welded in. Part of the process of putting this thing in is I want to make sure that the top of it's level. So I got a level here with a magnetic strip on the bottom, and looks like it's pretty close. Probably wouldn't matter if it was off a little bit, but you know, might as well do it right. Alright, we've got our patch piece fixed up exactly the way we want it. I'm going to go ahead and start to tack that in, but before we do, we want to make sure we get all this crud off of here. So we're going to just come along here and kind of polish this up. The last thing you want to do when you're welding is be welding on dirty metal. Alright, we're set up now to tack this puppy in. I'm sure most of y'all know when you're wire feed welding or MIG welding, any kind of welding, you want to tack the four corners at least, and then kind of start filling in the gaps a little bit at a time. You don't want to get it too hot and get the metal warping. So we're going to start along the top, put a few tacks in, hit the bottom a little bit, and then we'll go back and put the finishing passes on it. Alright, as you can see, we've got our piece all welded in. Got a little bit of filling left to do, but the main thing we wanted to do was get this thing at least tacked in, which we've done that, because we're about to pull the body off the frame, and this piece needed to be tacked in place first so that it would line up properly. Of course, once it's off the body, we had no way of knowing exactly where the shifter was going to be. So we'll be filling in all the rest of those holes once it's in the rotisserie. We'll also, next step that we'll be posting on our website here after this one is we're going to be patching some holes in the floor pan and treating the floor pan with some Pour 15. And of course, we've got a little bit more we've got to do here on this floor and get this thing in shape. So check back with us. We appreciate you checking in on this article. And if you'll check back with us, keep looking. Probably in the next week or so, we'll have the next step posted up here on the website. Our plan is just to walk you through this one step at a time, showing you how just us average guys do stuff. There's no drama here. There's no trained professionals. We're just average guys here just trying to tear a car down and put it back together. So we're going to show you how we do it. All right. If you have any ideas or if you know anybody that happens to carry these things, the floor tunnel, send us an email and let us know. We're trying to just get as much information on our website as we can so people will know where to go to get the parts they need and the best way to put them in. So thanks for checking in and keep checking back.